Well, moving into the second half of the program, we'll be talking about artificial intelligence. Well, as it continues to revolutionize the global economy, to drive growth, to bring about innovation, and to expand industries. We see AI making inroads and bringing a lot of positives. But for Nigeria, are we ready? With challenges ranging from industrialization, lack of infrastructure, and of course, a lot of persons not intending with some of the tools and not properly equipped, I mean, not skilled enough to handle artificial intelligence. Where are we? How can we tap into these global evolution and benefit from it? We'll be joined by Seyi Akindeinde, all the way from the New York State in United States of America, and of course from Jos in Nigeria, Nnamdi Ibe. I wonder if that's Nnamdi or Nambi.
Nnamdi. You got it right.
Okay. Nnamdi is a founder, Axia Technology and Innovation Hub, while Seyi is the founder, Hyperspace Neural AI. Good morning and welcome to the program. I do have Blessing. I wonder if she wants to take the first blow.
Not a blow, but just to say hello, Seyi, and hello, Nnamdi.
Good
Hello,
morning.
it's my pleasure to be
Good
here.
early morning here. Good to see you.
See you too.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Well,
It's our
you didn't say
pleasure.
good to see me.
Oh.
So it was good to
Don't be
bring
jealous.
you. It was good to bring you into the scheme. Yeah. All right. So let's go at it. What's the current state of AI adoption in Nigeria? We had talked about the fact that not everyone is abreast or have the skills. I mean, let's just even look at it practically. Spreadsheets. How many persons can actually comfortably do data imputing on a spreadsheet? How many persons have appreciated the computer? Talk more of artificial intelligence to know how to use it. Where are we with that? I mean, if we had someone in the US and someone in Nigeria, probably we'll be able to marry it properly. And so maybe we should just bring our analysts into the conversation. I wonder if you want to say something about it first.
Yes, before we bring in Seyi and Nnamdi, where are we? And you talked about the spreadsheets. From the time that computer science became like a thing you must know or have knowledge, and where we had computer centers where people do like 3 months training, 6 months computer training, it's been there, and people would expect that, oh, at least if you live in this day and time, regardless of your age, you should have maybe elementary knowledge of the computer and how to use certain applications or softwares in the computer. And we're also saying that the use of the computer has increased and also evolved into other areas that before this time you never really needed to use the computer. I doubt if there is any aspect of life or any type of work these days that you don't need the computer for or you can't use the computer for. But for certain applications that seem like, oh, this is complex, like a spreadsheet that you talk about, it's hard for people to even know how to maneuver or find a way navigate such applications, not to talk about AI and some applications that have come for its use and to which you can deploy this advanced learning. We just watched a report talking about the dawn of intelligent machines. So except for the likes of Seyi and Nnamdi, some persons are just doing the basics, but they'll tell us where exactly we are in being techie or catching up in a tech space in Nigeria, adopting and even creating some of these intelligent machines. Seyi, are we there? Are we getting there?
Thank you very much. At the moment, I would say we are, just about scratching the surface. We are not there, and it's it's interesting that you would, bring up the topic of people trying to use even Excel and struggling at it, and that's honestly the truth. Because over time we've seen that how to analyze data like that has been a bit of a problem because AI is simply statistics. It's more like advanced statistics. So if you're not very good in mathematical, statistical and probabilities and all that, you would sort of struggle with it. Now, you see the difference between that AI and this new wave of AI that we're seeing now, which we call the generative AI, is that it is sort of, they've seen that is even a problem. So they've leveraged our natural language to say, okay, why is AI, why does it have to be, something that you have to be technical to know? Since we already have natural language, why can't I use natural language to analyze the Excel? So if I have my Excel spreadsheet, why can't I tell it, look, calculate, this row and this column for me and give me the output in English, in natural language, which is why this generative AI has sort of taken the world by some kind of storm. I mean, like you said, I'm in the US here attending a lot of sideline events of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA 79, and AI has been on everybody's lips, from presidents and top government officials to practitioners to even different sectors, different fields, oil and gas, legal, medical fields. And everybody is coming to the same consensus that it's going to make it easier for us. But at the end of the day, we are scratching the surface in Nigeria. We have not really, the adoption rate is still, people, the fear is, and I also associate with the fear. The fear is that, oh, this AI, if it's so easy for somebody to do that, if MD or CEO can just look at an Excel spreadsheet and talk to it and say, give me the calculation, what's going to happen to my own job? And I think that's why the adoption rate is a bit low. But I think that we shouldn't fear it. And I'm sure as we go along in this conversation, we'll probably be able to extend it and talk about why it will be beneficial, even for us in Africa, in Nigeria, to adopt this technology and make it work for us.
All right. So let me get Nnamdi in. Nnamdi, you heard from the New
Yeah.
York-based neural AI expert. We're just knocking on the door, scratching the surface.
Scratching the
We're not
surface.
there yet. I mean, I'd want to find out for you, in the Nigerian tech space, what do you make out of that statement, considering the fact that, yes, the world is a global village, remote jobs now exist, people are developing skills that, they can do from whatever location they are. And are you saying Nigerian tech persons, are not there compared to those who are probably in the United States or United Kingdom? Are we not doing enough here?
Okay, from my perspective, I fully agree with what the last speaker said. As someone who is actively practicing in this field, I don't think we are there yet. And even when we say techies who are actively in the tech space, most of what we are doing is still at the surface level. Most of the people we relate to as technologists or techies in this part of the world are people who maybe are either having startups or working remotely, and many times they are serving other systems and maybe information systems or building products that may not necessarily be in AI. So I fully agree with that. Even at the governmental level, I think sometime in August, the minister had stated some of the plans of the government to help the country jumpstart their AI journey and the national AI strategy that was sought to be adopted and all. But to answer your question, I still think we are not there. I still think we're not there. There's a lot to do. And even in the people who are celebrated as those who are doing something in the technology field and maybe close to AI, we are still consumers of products of AI research from other parts of the world. So even what we call AI adoption is still us using things that the other parts of the world have produced and consuming the end products. So I don't think we are there. I fully agree with that.
So the question is, if we're not there, why are we not there? Is it an issue of skills gap, or we're not actually looking to areas that we can develop our own in terms of some of these applications and problem solving that AI is doing? Let's even begin with the AI training that we've completely adopted. So if I need data on certain things, in Nigeria or about Africa, for instance. Say I need information about the effects of climate change on Nigeria. And I ask some of this chat box, AI apps. I would get information that the AI has been trained not by Nigerians, but by some other people or some other countries that have developed that application. So it doesn't give me up to date or real local data. How do we begin to start from there to develop the capacities for us to go beyond scratching the surface to actually being real players in this aspect?
A very good question, and it's around the conversations I've been having lately. I think there are a lot of things we can do as a people, as Africa, as Nigerians. One of the things I think the government can help us do, and that's to answer our question of why we are not there. Infrastructure is a major challenge in this part of the world. When we are talking about AI is a bit advanced. Anything digital services, anything digital innovation, anything innovation is powered by certain kinds of infrastructure that if we don't have, we can't even start to have the conversation. So first thing I would itemize is infrastructure. We don't still have the right infrastructure that can enable this innovation happen and this trajectory take place. I'll talk about, for example, look at internet access. Our internet connectivity in this part of the world is still very minimal. I'm using satellite internet here. Not everybody has that access. That I'm having seamless connectivity with you is because of I can access that. But if we want to truly take advantage of this evolution, we have to make this basic infrastructure accessible across board to the very dark places, to the very unreached places of the country. I also look at another reason why we are not there to be around policies. We've not really taken our time to build policies that are tailor suited to our sector, to our unique case. So the government also has a role to play in that policies, creating of policies and implementation of those policies as well. And also, thirdly, why we are not there, I would also look at our educational system. One of the things that has been high on my mind lately is that our educational systems that are still focused on what they call AI research are not transiting from that point of research to the point where they are implementing the products of research. And I think the government can also help us with that a lot. Now, because most of what you see around AI is based on research, because people actually researched, got data, and made sense out of this data, and then they implemented the products of those research in their systems. So I think the educational system also not transiting from just being research-based or academic certification-based institutions to actually solution-based institutions is another factor we can look at. So, and then also, I remember sometime in some 4 or 5 years back, we were working on a solution that had a very wide reach across the country. And we found it difficult to get a data center that could meet the particular need we wanted. And this was at a wide scale and without going into specifics. And that's a problem. So we need to be able to, as a government, as a country, invest in infrastructure like electricity, data centers, internet access. And from then we can start the conversation. Nigerians are very resilient people. That's one thing I know. And if these basics are provided, I'm sure Nigeria will get a very good start.
All right, Nnamdi, I'm currently on your Instagram page, and there's a post here from the 5th of September. It says, it is said that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with people. This is a true story of many years of determination and focus of innovation through technology on the plateau. This is our Axia story. What's yours? You're speaking about collaboration, and how many tech persons in Nigeria, like I mentioned, the fact that the world has become a global village, and the fact that people now do remote jobs, resident in African countries, working for organizations in the US, in the Americas, in Europe. What collaborations have you personally fostered and people within the tech space in Nigeria to improve the tech? Because I mean, you have doctors coming from the Americas to come run missions in Africa, who are Africans, by the way. I mean, have you reached out to people who are in tech space? Or you have Seyi on the other hand here, and you shake hands across the border and say, Seyi, what can we do to improve this? What can we, do to get Nigeria back on track or to get Nigeria on track? Since we've not scratched the surface, we're just knocking on the door. What can we do to get to that level? Not just within ourselves in Nigeria, but to have external collaboration and partnership.
Okay, so to answer that question, there are several things we've done. Because we are a service-driven organization, there are times currently, I think we've established certain collaborations across the local aspects. That means in our current location, we've been able to establish collaborations with different technology hubs, organizations that provide services that we can relate to, and also organizations that provide services and that need the services we provide. One of the things we've done is partner with higher institutions, because we've identified that since this is the problem, what can we do about it? So we're partnering with certain universities and to aid them get to the point of implementing of their research, and also to facilitate the enabling environment for their students, because spending 4 or 5 years in the university is a wonderful time for you to maximize the human resource in that phase of their life. So we partner with universities at that level. That's one level of collaboration we do. Collaboration with educational institutions, collaboration with organizations that are local. And then secondly, we also collaborate with government agencies. There are government agencies that are interested in training and retraining of their staff. Because truth is, while this AI story is spreading and AI trend is spreading, there is a certain group of people that are actively in the system that need to be upgraded to the point where they can receive this technology, even if it's at the very basest of levels. And then, so that's partnership and collaboration is also there. And then, surprisingly, 3 days ago, we had an issue we needed to solve. And it's as simple as getting to pay for certain services because of the regulations in our banking industry. And we collaborated with some of the Nigerians that are not in the country, and they were able to provide us the support because they have access to certain tools and tools that we needed at that point. So we are establishing collaborations at the local level, at the governmental level, at the institutional level, educational institutional level, and then also globally. Because the truth is, Nigeria has talent outside the country. And an example is our guest here. He's outside there, he's abreast with the global innovation, and he has access to certain things that are not available locally. So those kind of collaborations are happening on the ground, they're happening corporately, and I think it's something that should be encouraged. And that's what we are doing, and we've been doing for the last few years that we've been active in this sector.
All right, Seyi, I want you to speak to this as well. Seyi, I'd like you to speak to this issue of collaboration. I'd want to think that you're Nigerian, yes, you're based in the US and all, but there's an Igbo adage that says, "Ane sinolo marama." Literally translated, you become fine from your home and you take it outside. The beauty, goes outward. So if you put that in perspective, collaboration.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm actually based in Nigeria, not in the US. I'm just here for about, a few days just for the United Nations events. And that's part of, the collaboration that we're trying to foster. One of the things that we're also trying to do is, look, AI is very, very expensive. We're talking about training our own data. She was talking about, when you ask AI setting, maybe you go to ChatGPT and you ask it to give you data that is particular to Nigeria, data that is particular to maybe Jos or Plateau or Lagos. It starts to give you generic international data so you can make sense of it. And part of it is that in order to train this, even if you're an expert, the thing is you need data center, you need the infrastructure, which Nnamdi just talked about. This infrastructure is very, very, very expensive. How many GPUs, how many NVIDIA servers do we have in Nigeria to train this data? So the truth is, even as practitioners, as people who practice in this field, if I have the data and I want to train Nigeria's climate data and put it and let professionals have access to it, I need to come to the US. I need to come and buy these servers. So one of the things we're trying to do here is to talk to these people that, look, just the same way you have rates, like when you buy software, they have certain rates for organizations and they have certain rates for, educational institutions, almost free. Now, why don't they have rates for us back home where we can use this data? Nnamdi mentioned something on even ordinary data, internet access. You need I gave a speech here and I said, look, the whole world is moving. When I was in school, we're talking about the factors of production that fuels economic growth as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. It is completely been, flipped on its head. Land then becomes the internet. That is the virtual land that everybody has to operate on. Without internet, you and I cannot even have this kind of interview. Look at what the internet has done, with applications like, Zoom and all that. It has given us, I can be in US, Nnamdi can be in Jos, you can be in Lagos, and we can all have this kind of meeting. Then we talk about labor. Labor is going to move from manual to AI and automation, and we need this access. Without it, we are not going to do anything. So we are here talking to them that, look, don't think of you when yes, we are not at the level where we can create these hardware devices yet, for us. You that the companies here, the Googles, the Nvidias, come to Africa. We have the skill, we have the talent. However, these talents, them leaving Africa to come here because frankly, we don't have the infrastructure. So we have to collaborate. There has to be government, intervention as well, even in internet access, even in things like providing the infrastructure, providing electricity for people to participate. Then also, we're also doing things around the academia. You see, if you want to spread, if you look at the way technology spreads, you don't spread it from the top down. It has to be from bottom up. We have to go grassroots. One of the barriers which Nnamdi has also mentioned is education. And one of the challenges we have in Nigeria is that we tend to focus education on just the people that are literate. There are a lot of people. In fact, one of the best programmers I've ever met in my life couldn't even speak, a word of English. All he spoke was pidgin and his local, dialect. And when he heard that, oh, you can learn a programming language. Okay, I don't have to understand English to understand, programming language. He learned it and it became really, really good. So why are we not teaching people? Why are we not going to schools to say, why do I have to take somebody who speaks English, take him to an underserved community, maybe in Jos, and then have him speaking, impart knowledge in English that they do not speak? If I can make him speak pidgin, he already knows it, or Igbo, or Yoruba, or Hausa, then you can teach people in the language they understand. And then, because AI, we can even now use AI as a medium of information and knowledge dissemination. There are AI tools now that, as I'm speaking English, there's an app you have on your phone. What you will be hearing will be your language. You won't hear me speak English. It will automatically convert it on the fly and into your language that you will hear. AI. So we can use that as well as a medium of information, dissemination to enable people to come, because the more people, we are leaving AI at the mercy of technical people, and sometimes technical people don't make and AI itself, the generative AI, is actually meant to come and solve the problem of it being in the domain of computer scientists. So as I am here, I should be able to use AI. You should be able to use AI. You should be able to speak your language and use AI. So those are the things we should be doing. We are also doing that with universities. We're also doing, in fact, we have a program on radio that we're doing in pidgin. For instance, we are saying everything. We're talking about AI, explaining these terms, concepts, generative AI, structured data. We're using pidgin to narrow it down so that people can understand that this is not just, some kind of technology that is around the domains of tech experts. And so that's one of the things we're also here talking to companies, Google, Microsoft, that look, come home, come to Nigeria. We have this talent. If you want to subscribe to some of these apps that even people are using, it's $20 converted to naira is almost around 30 something thousand. That's above minimum wage. How many people? And that's just one app. You have the video, you have images. These things are really, really expensive, and if we're not careful, we will be on the fringes of this technology again as consumers. But we need to be producers, as we have seen in other aspects. If we become producers, we will now use that AI to solve our own local, problems. And that's essentially exactly what we're doing, here, and trying to bring it back home.
All right, so you are in the US for a UN function. So at the 79th United Nations General Assembly, global leaders came together and discussed about a global digital compact to ensure equitable access to technology. Now, this initiative is to help bridge the digital divide. So part of it is to foster digital inclusion and also digital capacity. What can African leaders, what can tech companies in Nigeria do to key into this initiative and ensure that the aim of bridging the digital divide, building digital capacity is actually achieved? Because if this is left to the global leaders who discuss this, it's more like when they are able to reach out, that's when they reach out. We've seen platforms like Google do something, but what can the local players here do?
Thank you very, very much. It might interest you to know that, I mean, the Minister of Telecommunication and Digital Economy is here. The Director General of NITDA is also here, and they're listening to all these things. And one of the things that I think I like that the minister is doing is, he initiated this 3MTT, this 3 million technical talent, concept when he came in, when he says he wants to develop in Nigerians 3 million, technical talents in the next few years. I think they've done about 300,000 of them as well, because even before we even get to AI, we need to have people that are digitally literate. What you see are people that, yes, we have mobile phone penetration is about 91%, but a lot of these mobile phones that people use are just feature phones. They are not smartphones, and really there isn't too much you can do with smart feature phones unless you move to smartphones. So one of the things he's doing is he's also trying to build up the literacy, the digital literacy of people. Is when you are digitally literate that you can even understand the concept of artificial intelligence. So, but we think also that, yes, it shouldn't stop at that. One of the things you see is that as these people are learning this technology, they need to, you just don't learn it and go. You need equipment, you need laptop, you need internet, you need, a conducive environment to be able to take whatever you have learned forward beyond the certificate to be productive. So you need, and then you now need enabling policy. I think our governments in Africa are a bit slow to come up with the right policies to engender, this forward movement. We sort of wait till maybe somebody has done it in the West, and we now adopt it, and by that time it may be too late. I think sometimes we shouldn't just look at what the West is doing. We should actually use, sometimes we may even have to create policies that and will not be in line with what they are doing here, because we have specific problems. We have specific, issues. And technology, if any technology is about doing things faster, it's about doing things better, it's about doing things cheaper. We don't have to copy and paste from the West. We can copy the good parts and then look at the parts that will suit us. So policy, training, and education. And then, like Nnamdi mentioned as well when he spoke, academia have to come in. Our academic institutions, a lot of the technological innovations and developments originate everywhere in the world from academic institutions. What is our own, what are the things that have been put in place by our own academic? And I give you even just a few examples. For instance, I'm a practitioner. We have certain things that we have done around, okay, can we leverage some things to in Africa, maybe some of the commodity hardware that we have, to train on our own data, so that when you query it, you will be able to get local data. We wanted to file a patent for it, and guess what? The patent office in Nigeria isn't even well equipped. That means our legal system has not even caught up to advancement in AI. So if you have an idea and you want to patent it now, you won't be granted a patent because our laws haven't caught up to that. So how do we innovate? How do we do these things when you can't even, put into practice what you have in the lab? So those are some of the challenges that we think we need to upskill, from government to, the policy makers. We need to upskill. We need to be in tune with fourth industrial revolution. We're talking about AI. We're talking about Web3 and blockchain technology. We're talking about spatial technology now. I mean, just yesterday, Meta was launching, Ray-Ban glasses with AXR, VR, augmented reality, extended reality, virtual reality. Those are things that in the next 1 or 2 years, what laws are in place, AI will be merged with all these things. Quantum computing is coming. So we need a lot of upskilling from policymakers downright to, our educational institutions to students. So it's not just about saying, oh, AI, we don't have the skill. We need to actively, then our schools, like I always say, see, computer science has to go. we have to unbundle computer science. Computer science is no longer one body. We need to have courses special in AI. We need to have courses in blockchain and cybersecurity. These are all fields in their own. So if we bundle everything and you just have dedicate maybe one course to, we're not going to develop like that. So until our educational institutions, from even the Nigerian Union of, what the body in charge of drafting curriculum for secondary schools and universities come together to sit down and say, we need to make this thing serious. And then it shouldn't be at the purview of just computer science students or mathematics. It should be everybody. Legal, there has to be an AI component to somebody studying law. There has to be an AI component to somebody studying medicine. There has to be an AI, because AI is a general purpose technology, and that's what we have to do.
Very well said. You touched on things that are very critical. For instance, the aspect of Nigerian laws not having caught up with some aspect of AI. That is huge. And another time, we'd like to get deeper into that. But for now, we have to close the discussion. Thank you so much, Seyi Akindeinde, for being with us this morning, all the way from the US. We do hope you enjoy your event at the UN. And then when you get back, fill us in on some of the policies and discuss over there. Thank you so much, Nnamdi Ibe, for joining from Jos to on the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure is mine.
All right, Temple, did you get shocked when she said that at the point that we're trying to get patent for what they wanted to do, being able to train some of the AI with their own data and come up with some apps? They couldn't do that in Nigeria. Did that shock you?
Well, it's shocking as flights, empty airports 2 days ago. Well, no, let's relate. Those are the conversations we had this morning.
Okay.
As shocking as empty airports, because a certain airline, which we've been praising, probably could not micromanage the situation and kept postponing a flight from 9 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. on the Lagos to Abuja route. And then you cannot blame them because they are trying to fill up those seats. Otherwise, carry empty plane can they go. I mean, we see that even with the buses here in Lagos. So they postponed from 9 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Bring it back to AI. We know what is right, and we keep building walls of bureaucracy and all of that around it. Now, for example, I have a Google keypad that translates Igbo, that also gives you a Yoruba function. If it had been difficult for persons, they had made it difficult for Google to integrate all of that. I mean, conversing in Igbo language would have been also difficult, because what do? I try to learn how to type and spell in Igbo language. What he has done for me is the little Yoruba that I know have also been improved, because you input it gives you a suggestion, and you can also quickly check the meaning. And so if you have data, local generated data, imputed into Gemini, ChatGPT, and all of that, what it does for you is you have local content. Someone from this area is able to, even for research papers, for assignments, for professional work,
even for learning languages,
basically have these content. And so when you say you get to that point and then you're trying to patent it and it's not, I mean, I'm bewildered by it.
Is this happening, to say the least? But we do hope that this is a table where we shape policy. It doesn't end here. From shaping it here, we'll move it to the appropriate quarters. So it's now resting on the Nigerian government, on the Ministry of Information and Data Management. It's now resting on those who are in the appropriate authorities, the legislature, those who can do what needs to be done to ensure that every aspect of the law, every aspect of medicine, every aspect of life, like Seyi said, that needs to come up to date with current trend as it concerns technology, as it concerns AI, do that, so that we're not just talking, and it seems like when we're talking about technology, we're playing. The word has become more serious than that. This is real business. These are real issues. That will aid development, aid economic development. So we should get serious and very intentional about it. I'm Blessing AG. Many thanks for watching the show today. We can do again tomorrow, 8 a.m. West African time. And be sure to leave a comment after watching the show, like, share to your friends. And Market Insight comes up at 11. Do stay with Sig News.
Well, my name is Temple Bar, and on days like this, I have no words other than keep watching, and we hope that it gets better. Do have a lovely day, and bye for now.
Early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.